I'm Charles Womack. I'd like to thank you personally for allowing us to come into the privacy of your homes as we share the inspirations of Grace in Motion. I would also like to say that our objective is to highlight the Christian hero, also to enjoy our gospel showcase, and to dwell into and broach some of the deepest subject matters in our communities at our community meeting. We would like to ask if there's anyone that you may know whose story, whose life can be shared with our community, and to be a blessing to them as well, please let us know. And also, if there's a subject matter that you'd like to hear more about that's going on in our communities, please contact us. Contact us at 770-256-8764, 770-256-8764. Again, we thank you, and please continue to pray for God's grace in motion. Hello, once again, welcome to Grace in Motion Ministries. I'm Charles Womack, and I am your host. As we always do, we'd like to extend our appreciation to you for allowing us into the privacy of your homes. We know that your schedules are busy. We know that there are numerous channels that you can select from, but again, for the last 2 years, you've allowed us to sit and to share concepts of Grace in Motion Ministries. Now, also, we've always liked to give information about what we're trying to do here. We're trying to, again, highlight the Christian hero. We're trying also to put significance on AFC, which is Athletes for Christ. Also, we have numerous of concerns in our communities that we must forever bring to light and refrain from putting them under the rug. And then, of course, when the time is appropriate, we've had and we'll have more of our gospel showcase. Well, today we're going to actually focus in on, one, the Christian hero, but most significantly, a concern for the community. Now, this is a concern in my eyes simply because as we look around, we see that there are many of us that are coming down with specific ailments, physical, mental, emotionally, spiritually, a number of conglomerations of things that are hindering us. Why? Because oftentimes our physical is not where it could be, let alone should be. And if we are warriors for God, then surely He expects for us to be able to stand in the midst of the trials and the confrontations with a strong physical. Well, I have with me today an awesome guest, our Christian hero. Her name is Linda Moore. Linda Moore is a certified personal trainer, and she's also a nutritionist. So we're going to bring her on at this time, so she's going to tell us some of the things we may want to be a little more concentrated upon in our communities, and some of the techniques and angles we can go about becoming stronger warriors as we carry out the mission that has been given to us. With any further delay, I'd like to introduce you all to my wonderful guest, Miss Linda Moore. How are you?
Hi.
Welcome, my dear.
Thank you, my
And
pleasure.
thank you so much for coming on. Linda, I have to get this thing going because we always realize that time, it flies when we're having fun, and we plan on doing just that.
Okay.
Linda, let me give you this question here. Now, we know that fitness can be an addiction, a good one, mind you. There are many that are not healthy, but fitness is an addiction, and I'd like to know, how long have you been in the world of fitness? 1, 2, what is your routine in reference to your daily activities when it comes to fitness? And not only that, tell us what motivates you to do what you do, please.
I've been in the fitness arena for 24 years. What got me interested in it, as a child, I was kind of heavy,
Okay.
fat, and you know how children can be. They can be kind of cruel.
Kinda.
I got teased a lot. I got called names, fat, and other things.
Right.
Not only by my other playmates, but by my sisters and brothers as well. And to add insult to injury, I was an A student.
Okay.
So as time went on, as I grew up, I saw that, you're treated differently if you're not overweight.
Okay.
So as I got older, I got interested in physical things, like I was in the band, I was a majorette, and things like that. As I became an adult, I decided that I would try an aerobics class.
Okay.
And I loved it. You know, I got hooked on it. So
Okay.
I went every day, and I got to be the star pupil in class. So I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to begin teaching it.
Okay.
So at that point, back then, you didn't have to be certified, and that you just have to show up and, you know, do your thing or whatever. So I did that.
Okay.
And I developed a pretty large following from that.
Okay.
And I took it a step further. I became an aerobics instructor, management. I got into management. I owned my own gym. I did a little television, and I got into different aspects of the physical, not only aerobics, but I did a little swimming, some cycling, you
Yes.
know, some racquetball, and, you know, a bevy of things.
Okay, wonderful. And Linda, let me ask you now, apparently, you said a moment ago, when you were a youth, you had a lot of kids that were making fun of you, and I know that can hinder our esteem. Do you believe that being healthy or in shape would help a person not just physically look better, but emotionally? Does it do anything for your emotional state of being?
Oh, absolutely. I feel better about myself. I can relate to other people a lot better. It does a lot for your attitude. You're more calm. You know, you don't get upset as quick. You know, you deal with stressful situations a lot better.
Okay.
And with today's world as it is, you know, running around, you got so many different routines that you have to go, daily routines. You know, you need to be physically able to handle those things. You know, a lot of women, you know, they wear a lot of hats. You know, they've got to be the financier in the family, you know, providing for the kids, providing for the husband, and bringing in a paycheck as well.
Yes.
So in order to do that, you've got to be physically in shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so technically what we're saying is that no matter what the pressures are, it is important that we are physically healthy, even if it's the pressure of being a good parent, the pressure of, like you say, being in the workforce, even just being a Christian yourself. You have issues in reference to spirituality that if you do not have the physical stamina, it can take you down quicker. Are you agreeing with that? Or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It increases your endurance.
Okay.
You know, where stressful situations may just totally take you out. It just knock you down. When you're physically in shape, you can take a lot.
Okay.
You can really take a lot. And you just kind of bounce back from it.
Okay. Now, Linda, you said earlier that there has been times you've been in atmospheres like this. I can see your naturality here and that you are very comfortable. However, you did have a fitness program, and it was televised, and you did get tremendous response from it that was positive. Please share with us, what was that experience all about, and what was the overall objective in doing it?
Well, the show was similar to this one. It was a 30-minute program, and it was had more of a political overtone. And we did the last maybe 5 minutes of the show, and the purpose of it was to enlighten our community about the aspects of the positive aspects of fitness. So what we would do would come in the last 5 minutes, and we would talk on one specific issue. It may be high blood pressure, it may be cholesterol, it may be exercises for one particular part of your body. So we would focus in on that one thing, and we would expound on a little bit. You know, we would give demonstrations of exercises and this kind of thing.
Okay.
So it went over quite well.
Okay, and how long ago has this been when you had this show?
This was a few years, maybe I would say 5, 6 years.
5, 6
something
years?
Like, yes.
Okay, very good. Now, we're going to dwell now into some of your insight when it comes to fitness. And I know that they say that fitness and nutrition go together like a hand and a glove. However, you know, that there's that little cliche that says that, you know, a little bit of something is better than nothing at all. So I guess my question is, for those of us, you know, and I am guilty of, you know, cultivating every day. I get and do a few of these curls with my dumbbells, do a few, you know, reps when it comes to bench. But when it comes to really being focused on what I intake into my physical, I'm not as conscientious as maybe I should be. My question is, for those of us who will cultivate one without the other, because I know some people who eat perfectly. They are vegetarians, but they won't walk fast enough to catch the bus that's finna pass them. So please tell us, is it all right to, if you at least do a little something and not be expected to do it all?
Well, it all depends on what you're expecting to achieve. If you're the type of person where you want to lose weight, you want to develop a healthier lifestyle, then you're going to adopt both, the physical and the nutritional part of it. Now, just say, for instance, if me and you went to the gym and you were the type of person that you are, you did the physical part, but you weren't where you want to be for the nutritional part. So you would say, well, Linda, how do you continue to just work out like you do without getting tired?
Right.
I'm bushed. We've only been at it 30 minutes, but I'm tired. And I said, well, Charles, it has to do with what I eat. So what are you eating? And I'll tell you. He said, I think I may try that. I said, okay, just try it. Just try it for a week or so, and then just let me know how you feel. After that week or so is done, you'll come back to me and say, you know something? That made a big difference. It made a big difference. So I think I'll start eating grilled foods as opposed to fried foods, and see how I feel. And then it'll start at a small point like that, and it'll develop and develop and it'll grow into something bigger.
Now, also, you know, I know that the fitness part isn't too expensive. I get on the floor and do some push-ups. You see, I'm good to go. I can invest one time in some dumbbells, and that's the end of that. So maybe that's an easier route for me. But if I have to consistently purchase nutritional products that are on the shelves, I'm apt to believe that it can bring that financial bill to a higher level. In other words, you know, if I'm going to be buying all these great fruits and all of these great vegetables and, you know, blending things together, you know, all the time, eating the best meats if that's what I intake, can that not be kind of expensive for the person who would like to have them both?
You can never put a price on fitness. You can't. I mean, whenever you begin to adopt a healthy lifestyle, there's going to be some expense in it. And it starts up here. You've got to change the way you think about yourself and the way you think about food and your lifestyle. Look at your list of priorities. How far up is fitness on your list of priorities? A lot of us, it's not even on there at all. If you're willing to go the extra mile to drive a better car, wear more expensive clothes or whatever, you can do the same thing for your body. So technically what we're saying is just a matter of our priorities, our areas of extravagance. What about an overall concept, you know, because I know that we have a healthy stress reliever, we have a unhealthy stress reliever, but because I've practiced the unhealthy stress reliever all my life, say I'm the type of person that, you know, drinks and smokes, and, you know, when I get under pressure, you run, and that's what we do. You see, and since that's an outlet and it works, but yet we're saying it's going to be a little more difficult for me to be able to get up, go in that hot sun, you know, start eating something I really don't like, you know, is it not easier for me to find the easy way out, or do you think it's really worth? But you can like it. I mean, it's just a matter of learning. You know, you've got to develop that knowledge. First, you've got to obtain the knowledge. You've got to develop it. A lot of it has to do with ignorance. We, in our community, and when I say ignorance, I don't mean in the derogatory sense, but there's a lot of things about food that we don't know. We think because you eat vegetables, you know, I'm eating healthy. Now, eating vegetables as opposed to eating a lot of sugary food, of course, that's a better choice. But at the same time, those vegetables can be a lot worse for you than anything else you could eat. If you cook them with saturated fats like ham hocks, fat back, you know, that kind of stuff that we like to eat, you know, it can be a lot more detrimental to your health than just going out drinking and smoking, just like you said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Deep. Because I guess the question that comes to me is, you know, I mean, come on now, we love good eating. You know, our folk, that's what we're going to do, you know, and we call it soul food. And I know the other night I happened to stumble upon me an excellent soul food meal. It was so good I started sweating. I'm serious. So now here, you see what I'm saying? So my thing is, you know, we love to throw it down.
Absolutely.
You know, we got the collard greens, the cornbread. You know, you mentioned something about the neck bones or something. I mean, ham hock. I mean, that's a cultural encounter. And I guess my question is it not relevant because, you know, as they say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. One, two, is it really not what you eat, but how you prepare it? I mean, can I not have my pork chops and just smother them instead of frying them?
No, Charles, you can't.
I mean, because we need something to work with, because what we're talking about is a cultural engagement in specific types of foods that we have mastered when it comes to preparation. So are we saying we have to refrain from our culture of eating process?
No, not refrain from it, but kind of change it just a little bit. Okay, let's take Sunday dinner for example. Now, with us, Sunday dinner is a major production.
Yes, it is.
Okay?
Yes, it is.
And we
Yes,
start
it is.
like maybe Thursday or Friday, just
Yes.
getting in our mind what we're going to have for Sunday. Okay,
Yes.
we get up Saturday morning, we go to the store, you know, we cooking all day long, you know, because we're going to be in church on Sunday morning. So when we get out of church, we want to come home when we want to eat.
Right.
Okay, we've got fried chicken, we got smothered chicken, we've got pork rolls,
Right.
we've got macaroni and cheese, we've got potato salad, candy yams, peach cobbler, sweet
Oh,
tea,
yes.
Kool-Aid.
Oh.
You know, I can go on and
And
on.
the day is
Okay,
Sunday.
you don't have to just get away from. That's like you said. That's a tradition for us
Yes,
in our
it is.
community. Sundays was typically used to get the family together, and we kind of do that little bonding thing. Okay,
Right.
but what you can do for your Sunday dinner,
Yes.
you know, have one meat instead of 3 or 4.
Okay.
You know, if you're going to have a chicken, have grilled chicken or
Okay.
baked chicken instead of fried.
Okay.
One vegetable instead of using ham hock. Use other herbs. You know that you
Right.
can, that you can season your
Right.
greens with.
Right.
You know, if you want something sweet, have something like sliced fruit
Right.
as opposed to your peach cobbler.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if you want tea, have unsweetened tea.
Okay.
You can sweeten it with honey
Okay.
instead of refined sugar. So there are a lot of different things you can do to still keep your Sunday dinner,
Okay.
but make it more healthy.
Okay, superb. So, because I didn't know you were trying to take all the goodies.
Oh no, you know, I got to leave you with something, you know.
Okay. Now, also, what about when we eat our meals? Is there any significance? Can we eat whenever we want?
No.
Late at night, it doesn't matter. It's all good as long as it's cooked right.
Okay, let's go back to Sunday dinner. Okay, the routine on Sunday dinner, we go to church, we
Yes.
get home, and we eat dinner. Okay, then you want to lay down and you want to look at the football game, you know, want to chill out, let that digest. Then you go back for round 2.
Right, absolutely.
No. Okay.
Okay.
If you do it one time, as the day go on, you know your
Okay.
calorie consumption should decrease.
Okay.
You know, so right before you go to bed, if you get hungry, have something like a piece of fruit. You know, drink you some water or something like that if you get hungry. But there's no need to consume all of those calories because
Okay.
you're not going to do anything to burn them up.
Right.
You're just going to sleep. So
Absolutely.
when you go to sleep, those calories just lay there and they turn to fat.
Okay.
You know.
Yes.
So when you eat, your meals has a lot to do with
Okay.
becoming healthy.
Okay, now I recall when I had the gym out there on Howell Mill Road, one of the things that trainers would always share is the fact that, you know, it's appropriate to eat 5 meals, 6 meals a day. Now help us to dismiss the myth of the concept, because that can be misinterpreted. You know, people think that when they say eat 5 or 6 times a day, it means eating, like you said, do not eat earlier, going back for the pork chops, and in about 20 minutes go back for the ribs. But is that what you're saying as a professional trainer? Tell us more, please.
Well, it's just like I was saying about ignorance about the subject of nutrition and how
Yes.
to eat.
Okay.
When we say 5 and 6 meals, we may say like you eat breakfast, you may eat oatmeal or
Yes.
something like that. A couple of hours later, you may get kind of munchy or whatever.
Yes.
Instead of going to the vending machine, grab a piece of fruit.
Okay.
A couple of hours later, you get your lunch. You know,
Okay.
a couple of hours later, you may have like an energy bar.
Okay.
It's still a meal. You're still consuming that as
Okay.
food for the nutritional value. It's still considered a meal.
Right.
You're up to 4 already.
Okay.
Okay. A couple of hours later, you know, right before you work out, you may grab a handful of nuts, unsalted, of course.
Yes.
Grab a handful of
I
nuts.
see you.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just a little bitty, tiny, you know, meals like that.
Okay.
When they say meal, they don't mean the meats
Right.
and the carbs
Right.
and, you know, the whole
Right.
big thing.
Right.
You know, the big
Right.
production. They don't mean that.
Okay,
That's
so
what
they
it
don't
means.
mean the 7 course. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and it doesn't necessarily have to be me, because I myself, I'm a vegetarian. You know, I'm strict vegetarian. I don't eat any meat at all.
Okay.
You know, but I eat good.
Yes.
you know, and I carry a bag of food with me.
Okay.
Wherever I go.
Okay. Well,
so when I
smart.
get hungry, whether to stop at Wendy's or, you know, somewhere like that, fast food, hey, I just grab the bag and.
Okay,
know,
excellent,
and I'm good
excellent,
to go.
excellent.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm not sweating like you know, that meal was too good to say I gotta walk away. I'm sorry. But anyway, my next question, Linda, is, you know, we think about oftentimes, you know, some of our major concerns. When you look around, you see that the physical condition of the community has declined. There are numerous of physical problems in our community, mind you. My question is, what are some of those concerns we must have, you know, as a community, a black community, in reference to what we eat and how we eat it? My question is, as far as the intake of those things and the physical condition, tell us about what those physical conditions are and what do we need to do to adjust? How far do we have to refrain from our old behaviors?
The main problem in our community is high blood pressure.
Yes.
That is a killer.
Okay.
Silent killer is what they call it. How we can help that or decrease the numbers, you know, change the sodium intake.
Okay.
Sodium, you know, don't put the salt on your food. Don't cook with the salt. There are a lot of different herbs and different type of flavored powders and things like that that you can use to season your food with.
Okay.
We need to get away from the processed foods.
Okay.
You know, they contain what they call a partially hydrogenated oils.
Yes.
Those can clog your arteries.
Oh, really?
Okay. They can elevate your cholesterol. We need to get away from canned foods. You know, we may use because see, canned items, if you look at the sodium content on a can, it's through the roof.
Wow.
And sodium intake can make your body retain water, which will elevate your blood pressure.
Yeah, really?
Exactly. And we've got the stresses and this kind of thing. We don't need to make the matter worse by consuming all this sodium.
Yes.
If we would take the sodium out of our diet, you know, not all of it, but, you know, the salt and, the, you know, the processed food, the can, you know, that kind of the smoked turkey wings and that kind of stuff.
True.
You will see a big difference.
Wow. Well, you know, I appreciate that too, because you know, believe it or not, I call myself a decent cook. You know, because I've been a bachelor, I have to do that.
Right.
But believe me, all of my veggies have been in the can. It's been so simplistic to open a can, throw it in a pot, throw a little butter in that thing, and then wait 30 minutes. I'm eating.
See?
But see, now I've been educated.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
very
what I'm saying.
kindly.
When you go home, look at the can. Just look in your cabinet, pull your canned goods out, and just look at the sodium content.
Yes. Okay.
They're like 1,100, 800 and something, and that's per serving.
Okay.
And most canned items, you're gonna have 3 or 4 servings in that can.
Yes.
You don't take one serving out of the can when you use it. You could just dump the whole thing in
That
there.
is correct.
So
That is
you
correct.
consuming 4 or 5 servings in that one sitting.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And we don't, you know, we don't think of it like that. It's because we don't know.
That is true. That
don't
is
know.
true. My people are destroyed because of lack of
Ignorance.
knowledge.
Exactly.
Question is, now, you said recently to the Children's Hospital, you saw how so many of the kids in there are in there for reasons that they normally would not be in. That has a lot to do with the transformation of how we live life today. What are some of the things that you think have put more of our children in the hospital with things like obesity and high blood pressure, as you just mentioned? Please tell us, what do you think the problem is and why are they in the condition they're in today?
Oh, Charles, it's through the roof. I mean, the amount of things that have gotten our children in the condition that they're in right now. The main thing being is in this day of an age of computers. You know, we don't go outside and play like we used to. You know, we used to would get like instead of a skateboard, we would take our school books and put them on the skates. You remember? We
I
sit
remember
down
that.
and, you know, roll down, you know,
Absolutely.
that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But now with the danger element to our kids, you got all these predators out there. You can't let your kids go outside and play for fear that something will happen to them. You know, you tend to keep them in the house and, you know, kind of try to keep them safe or whatever. And they don't get any exercise at all. They're sitting in front of the computer, in front of the TV or something like that. Another thing is that in the school system, it used to be mandatory that you take physical education. You had to have so many hours in physical education in order to graduate. Now it's not even required. They don't make them do anything.
True that.
We had to dress in these little funny little, you know, little
I remember
outfits.
that.
You had to
Yes,
dress, you know,
yes.
you had to be able to tumble
Yes.
and jump
You sure
and
did.
all this
That's
kind
right.
of thing. You know, they don't require that anymore.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was unheard of then, children dropping dead on the field from a heart attack.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is
You
true.
just didn't hear things like that.
That
But
is
now, I wouldn't exactly say it's the norm, but it's occurring a little bit too much.
Absolutely. And let me ask you now, so that's the problem. What's the solution?
Knowledge.
Okay.
I think it's knowledge. We as parents are going to have to take control.
Okay.
We're going to have to get into the school systems and insist that they put physical education back in the school curriculum.
Okay.
We're going to have to put our foot down, and we're going to have to put some pressure on some people to do the right things. There's things that we can do at home. You know, chores.
Yes.
You know, household chores. You know, run up and down the steps as many times as you need to. Have the kids do their chores. You know, that instead of letting them sit in front of the computer or the TV. You know, move the remote on the other side of the room. You know, different things like that.
Exactly. Now, Linda, for those of us who may very well be interested, because surely numerous of persons are listening as we communicate. For those who say, well, you know, I've never been on a regular routine before. I've never had a plan in place. To what degree can they get started without it becoming a shock treatment? You see, most people go out, run 10 miles, I'm going to do it this year. And because they're so sore, you know, they say, I don't want to see a track again. So what is something that would not be a shock treatment, but yet will be applicable to a person who wants to get started?
Something as simple as when you're going shopping, park your car at the other end of the parking lot.
Okay.
And just walk
to
your destination. And then when you get there, say, oh, I think I'll walk back.
Yes.
Make a couple of trips back and forth.
Okay.
That's a start right there. It doesn't cost you a thing.
Right.
You know,
right.
Like I said, go back to your household chores. You know, leave something upstairs that you know you'll need several times during that day, and make a conscious effort to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
Those are little bitty things that don't cost you anything.
Yes.
But it make a big difference.
That is so true.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
Make a big difference.
Now, what about, because we want to take in consideration, I'm going to be very honest, when I was coming over today to the studio, saw a young lady, she was probably about 500 pounds, and she was in the car, she was eating a big burger, and she was moving to the music. I see she looked happy, you know, but she can't be really totally happy. And my question is, what about those who say, you know what, it's just a little too late for that. You know, I'm at 350, 400. I run out of breath just getting out of my chair. Yeah, I'm hooked on this good eating. You know, I mean, how can you tell me, what can you tell me to say I can make one step, and tell me what that step is?
But you know, it's never too late.
Okay.
It's never too late. I've had the occasion to meet a young lady that was about 400 pounds. She came to my class one day, and she said she wanted to start working out, but she was so heavy, she was unable to stand on her feet for any length of time.
Okay.
I set her down in a chair and gave her a pair of weights.
Okay.
And she did a little something with the weights.
Okay.
You know, and it did a lot for her self-esteem.
Okay.
She had no idea that she could even make it through a class. I said, you can make it through a class. You may not do the same thing as everybody else, but you're doing something.
Wonderful.
You made an effort.
Wonderful.
You know, that was the first time and only time that I've seen her. But the look on her face when she left there was, I mean, it just got to you right there.
Thank you so much, my dear. And I just want to say, as again, we knew this session would come quickly to a conclusion. We are warriors. We have responsibilities. We cannot carry them out if we do not have a healthy disposition. Here we want to exemplify the significance of not just doing it physically, but doing it nutritionally as well. God looks for the strength in the soldier that has the ability to carry the pressure on their back as they carry out the mission. Remember, there's nothing more and there's nothing less but God's grace in motion. Until next time, we thank you, we love you, and have a good day. My dear, thank you
Such
so
a gracious
very much.
host, thank you.
My pleasure.